Hello everyone, it is Joe here from Omnipoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon. If you're looking for PTCGO codes, including the stuff from Vivid Voltage, make sure you go ahead and check out the Potown store. You can get a 5% discount on your orders using the code Omnipoke. For today's video, we're going to be looking at an updated Pikachu and Zekrom deck, looking at how it's adapted to the Vivid Voltage meta. Now, there aren't any new Vivid Voltage cards in PikaRom going forward. That doesn't mean it hasn't had to adapt to the new threats coming out. Colossal has sort of not really hit the ground running, but it has made a bit of an impact in the format. We'll see how that goes as the format progresses. But it's sort of forced a bit of a change in Pikachu and Zekrom, where there's been a shift towards Mewtwo and Mew Tag Team GX coming into the list. At the same time, just having a raw additional 30 hit points is basically fulfilling that role that Pikachu and Zekrom used to do, which was just adding in big charms into their 60s to try and put onto the Pikachu and Zekrom to be a little bit tankier. So for the most part, Mewtwo and Mew is just like the better thing that you could be using right now, because you're not as hurt by weakness, and you just have that natural inbuilt big charm, essentially, which is the whole idea here. You have that additional flexibility with Mewtwo and Mew as well, where you can then be moving into Tandem Shocks and moving into Lightning Ride GX, all on this one thing that it's sat onto. So surprising, really, that we haven't actually seen much Mewtwo be worked into PikaRom in the past when you sort of think about all of those factors now, but it really is making sense, and is one of the reasons potentially why this archetype is staying in the top 3 decks in the format. I think it's safe to say. So there we go. The other adaptation that we've really seen from Pikachu and Zekrom is going down quite a heavy hand disruption route. Now, it's often been one of the best stamp decks in the format, thinking back to when we had Volkner to access it. Now you're trying to play a high Marnie count alongside a couple of reset stamps, really to make the most of your Tandem Shock paralysis plays for the most part. And you also have Crushing Hammers, so constantly lowering your opponent's hand size whilst crushing hammering, whilst putting good pressure on, because we can play quite the good tempo deck when we need to. Full Blitz, can be something that you still can get turn 1 going second with the combination of Energy Switch and Tapu Koko Prism Star, or you can go, Electrify to guarantee that Full Blitz for the following turn, and you're pretty much rolling. The best thing about Full Blitz is that it sets up attackers for pretty much the remainder of the game, because you're usually powering up other 3 prize Pokemon for the most part. So you really give your opponent a difficult prize map as well for the most part, trying to feed them a Boltund, or if they are going to be aggressive with boss's orders on Dedennes and Eldegoss, you're going to continue to throw big 3 prize Pokemon at them every time. So that's really the core concept around PikaRom, how it's done well for so long, and how it's continuing to do good. But let's jump into the specifics of the list in front of you and why I've gone for the counts that I've gone for. As always, trying to give you like a pretty vanilla, solid baseline to work off of. So we'll start with Pikachu and Zekrom. 240 really isn't a great number, let's be honest. You're going to get bopped quite quickly by Eternatus. Centiskorch, hopefully with the help of some Crushing Hammer heads, can be put back a peg or 2. So there's a chance that you can be surviving hits, but you are, even with the resistance to metal that you have, still in range of a Zacian, even, post ADP GX buff, so that's something to bear in mind. Obviously, you can tank hits against the Lucario Melmetal builds of Zacian, but even now there's the fear of Leon going into those lists that can get through you, so its hit points is the biggest downside of the card. The rest of the card is just absolutely insane, to be honest, because Full Blitz does 150, and you can attach 3 lightning from your deck to one of your Pokemon. Not super flexible, not like Ultimate Ray, but it's just so easy to achieve this 3 energy attack cost with the help of Tapu Koko Prism Star, with the help of Electrify, with the help of E-Switch. You get there really quickly. For the most part, you'd expect to be doing this on turn 2 at the slowest. So yeah, really, really good. And then you do have this Tag Bolt GX attack as well. For 3 lightning, you do 200, and if you have an additional 3 lightning, you can also do 170 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Really, in this day and age, like I said, 240 is just so squishy that you actually don't get to do full value tag bolts as much as you'd like anymore. But this can still be a good GX attack option for you, just for being more damage than 150. It can be the case where you full blitz into tag bolt to deal with opposing tag team GX Pokemon quite well, or into VMAXs quite well as Also, bosses ordering, things like Crobats, Dedennes, Full Blitz doesn't quite get the job done, but Attack Bolt would, so those are things to bear in mind. For the most part, we try and just Full Blitz with this guy a lot, and you save your GX attack for Lightning Ride, where oftentimes you can make it a more awkward prize race for the opponent, or you can just try to get a higher damage cap than the 200. You can go to 250 as your max, which is really good. But that snipe, it's something that your opponent has to be aware of, and it can be a way that you can leapfrog certain opponents if they are not threatening a bunch. You can just really tempo out on them, and you can be really intimidating as well, and sweep boards that look quite difficult to come back from in other situations. So that's very good. Then we have 2 copies of Raichu and Alolan Raichu-GX. I think this has oftentimes been a 1 copy in Pikachu and Zekrom, but I think as of late, especially with the Mewtwo include, it kind of makes sense to play a 2nd copy of this card, because you're weaving in paralysis so much more in this format because your damage output just isn't the same as it used to be. Things just have more hit points now. So you're going to need to weave in these paralysis plays to slow people down and buy turns off of them at times. So the Tandem Shock does 80 and 80 more if it became your active during this turn, and you also paralyze. So that's the big selling point of Raichu. Additionally, you have that extra base 20 hit points, so it's a better thing to put your energies onto in general with Full Blitz because it's just tankier. And you also have that resistance to metal, which is a big deal again against ADP or even Luke Metal builds that play Leons. You can stay out of range. Now the ADP deck can Leon as well and get through this guy, so just something to bear in mind. But yeah, in general, this is a fairly tanky guy. Tandem Shock's a fantastic attack, and you also have that Lightning Ride GX attack, which does 150 and switches with one of your bench, so you can move a 3-prize Pokemon out of your active to try and force that awkward prize trade against people to make them sort of fall into the pitfall of reset stamps. And you have an extra benefit of having 5 energies attached. You get to do 250 instead, which again is just mopping up a lot more things than just the raw base output of 160 or 150 from Full Blitz. So yeah, good stuff there. The Mewtwo Mew, I've pretty much already covered it, but you're trying to use this guy just for its ability perfection, so you can copy the attacks of PikaRoms and Choo-Choos, and it has different weakness. You can hit other things for different weakness as well. There are other Mewtwo variants in the format, so having your own copies in here can be a nice sort of surprise play, especially if you don't use Tapu Koko Prism Star, for example, in a situation where you go first and try and use Boltund to power up your first PikaRom. You can save Dance of the Ancients plus E-Switch plus manual attachment to then use a Mewtwo and Mew to respond or take a clean knockout on your opponent's Mewtwo and Mew. So it can be a weird way to sweep the game, or even like you could sort of YOLO the approach and force the opponent into taking prizes against your Mewtwo, so that then you can be the one initiating stamp plays. So those are all things to bear in mind, but for the most part it's in here to help out against the Colossals and other random fighting decks that could be rooting around. There is some Galarian Surf fetched around in the meta as well, with some other Mewtwo variants that are using Aurora energies, so all things to bear in mind and be aware of. Boltund V is a really nice card in the deck as well. Playing 2 copies of this guy. Honestly, I could see a 3rd copy of this because it's a great lead for you in the first place, and it's just a fantastic option against some tankier decks right now. I've said so often that your damage output is like just below the bar that you'd be looking for most of the time, but the deck still gets the job done because when your Marnies and Reset Stamps and Crushing Hammers are all working and your stuff isn't getting knocked out, that's when Boltund becomes a huge threat with that Bolt Storm attack. He can really do huge scaling damage if your tag teams aren't getting KO'd, which is awesome, whilst at the same time being an awesome utility attacker in the early turns to electrify onto your Pikachu and Zekrom, so that even if you don't have much going on in your hand, you can still get a very nice board state set up. So yeah, Boltund serves the perfect role in here for skewing that prize trade as an attacking option, whilst accelerating and being like a huge bomb in the mid game if your tag teams aren't dealt with, so that's awesome. Tapu Koko Prism Star, Dance of the Ancients. We all know this guy's just in here to get some energies out of the discard pile, swing them straight onto your attackers and get rolling with them, so that's really awesome. And then we just have some setup Pokemon, really. 1 copy of Crobat for Dark Asset, 2 copies of Dedenne-GX, mostly Dedenne changing, but do bear in mind you can Tingly Return, even with a Mewtwo as well, to pseudo-heal your 3 prize Pokemon, which has come up before, so something to bear in mind. And you do play Eldegoss in here, just to try and spam supporters at the right times, basically just giving you ball search outs, the situational supporter, which is very good. Onto the trainers then. We're playing 2 copies of Reset Stamp for hand disruption. Like I say, this deck basically never 6-0s people unless they've completely bricked. You're normally like fairly, like you're good tempo, but you're not completely sweeping a board. You're normally giving up at least 1 tag team. Oftentimes the likes of Boltund are intentionally KO'd as well on your side, so you can then stamp them down to the 1. That's at least the plan. The E-switches can help you burst a Boltund on the scene from nowhere. It can help you threaten tag bolts, even when your opponent's not expecting it. It's also a great card in those early turns if you are going second to still be able to dance in the Ancients. If you do 2 targets, you can shift 1 over to your PikaRom and then manually attach to it, actually get to the full blitz all in 1 turn. Many previous renditions of PikaRom really tried to lean into this a lot and had like a really high energy switch and tag switch count. It's a lot less so the case now. I feel you try and change your tempo with the deck a lot more now, and you're happy to be a little bit slower, but still 2 E-switch gives you that flexibility to be aggressive when the time is right, really, so that's cool. 3 radar can access the Dedenne really nicely, as well as your main attackers, which is always very good. You don't mind playing such a high count when you're happy to throw some of these into the discard pile, because then they're still usable with perfection. So yeah, that's very decent. You're playing 4 copies of Crushing Hammer in most PikaRom decks right now. There are some PikaRoms that just choose to not play these whatsoever. Sometimes you can play Team Yellgrunt as like a 1 or 2 count to buy yourself some spaces back for Crushing Hammer. But for the most part, the fear of Eternatus is still kind of there. And this is just good in general against a lot of decks, to be honest. So, you know, the ADPs, the Lucametals, if ever you're forcing an extra attachment out of them, you're making them dig, you're making them find cards. And like I keep saying, this is a good deck at putting your opponent on a like kind of mediocre hand just with the help of Marnies and just smacking them early with full blitz. So Crushing Hammers hitting heads is essential for some matchups, but then just cream on top in others. So yeah, it's unfortunately just one of the best cards in the game right now. So a lot of decks are making the excuse to put it in, and PikaRom has the space and the consistency to actually put 4 slots in your deck without feeling like horrific that you're going to brick every game. That's kind of the idea. Then you're playing 4 copies of Quick Ball, good access to Crobat and Dedennes in the early turns, as well as, you know, just getting on our attackers for the most part. Full Switch as well as 2 Air Balloon gives us a lot of mobility, really important to try and reset your tandem shocks, really nice to try and get your Boltund weaved in quickly, and having a high switch count is important in like mirror match situations when other people are going to try and paralyze you, all that good stuff. So yeah, the high switch Air Balloon count is also really nice. We're playing 1 Chaotic Swell. It's going to be pretty good at, again, disrupting certain archetypes. Definitely welder-based archetypes are ones you're going to look to try and disrupt, things like Blacephalon, because you naturally don't have that favorable of a prize trade. You're looking to hit them with Marnie's Reset Stamp Swell at the same time, and make life difficult for them to sort of rebound after you knock out certain Pokemon. So that's a good deal. For supporters, you're playing Boss's Orders to cash in on the things that you've tried to 2-shot quite often, or just get the initiative on them, if that makes sense. 3 copies of Marnie. I feel like you could play 4 in this list, because I've said how, like, quite frequently throughout this intro how important the Marnies can be, but yeah, at the moment playing 3 copies, because I'm still a big fan of playing Professor's Research for the deep digs into the deck and making sure that you hit your things. I'm playing 4 Speed Lightning. I think this card is way too good to not play 4 copies. I see plenty of people playing 13 Energy, which is 10 basic and 3 Speed Lightning, but I'm definitely making a space for the 4th. The card is wild, absolutely insane card. I know there is some special energy hate in the format, but I still feel like it's just super worth it. Getting 2 cards for free is just super nuts. So yeah, I'm playing those for sure. And we're still playing a high count of basic lightnings so that you can pull them out of the deck with full blitz. So a few other things that you could be seeing in this list. Like I said, Team Yellgrunt could be an alternative to Crushing Hammers, or in addition to Crushing Hammers, just because again you have Eldegoss V in here. that can recycle those cards, which could be really nice. I feel like Vikavolt V as well is also a definite decent option, especially because Whimsicott is sort of teetering around the sort of tier 2.5 kind of category. If you do play Vikavolt V, you're going to have a much better time in that matchup. At the moment, without that sort of thing, it's going to be quite difficult for you. I do feel like Tool Scrapper could be reasonable as well. Even your own edition of Leon in the deck, I've seen a couple of Pikachu and Zekroms opt for. Just to try and maybe push the likes of Tag Bolt to be able to knock out things like Zacian, or just push that Lightning Ride to 280 so you can cleanly one-shot a tag team. So definitely some benefits to that Leon there. I haven't played around with it much, and I'm always willing to show you guys like simplistic shells of the deck more often than not, so I'm not going for anything too crazy here. But yeah, I definitely did want to flag up those sorts of cards because they're all certainly reasonable additions to the deck. But yeah, that's PikaRom. I'm sure you know all about PikaRom. It's been around for such a long time. But let's jump into the ladder and see how it's going to be performing. Should be a lot of fun. So yeah, I am a PikaRom fanboy. The last tournament I won was with PikaRom. So remember when we had tournaments? So going first and second is interesting. I feel like I see a lot of PikaRoms choosing to go second just because Electrify is super good. It's also really good to... like, it's so weird because against ADP, you never want to let them go first, and I always think that ADP is the most popular deck. So I would always choose to go first with this deck, unless, you know, you're in online events and you know exactly what you're coming up against. So the hand is decent here. We have something to attach to. We can bin a Lightning Energy early. The hand just got a lot better with a Dedenne-GX as well. So because it's a speed Lightning, it definitely makes me want to go and head and grab the PikaRom straight out the gates. So we have prized one PikaRom, which is fine. We still have one Boltund available. We fortunately still have our Koko. Some big prizes to be aware of in this deck. Looks like we are up against a Poison Eternatus. So we're going to have a look at our hammers. I think it means that I'm definitely not going to be DAA changing this turn because I want to hold this hammer in my hand. And with two researches now being picked up, I feel pretty okay with that situation. What am I going to be doing next turn? I basically like fire off a hammer, research, and then I'll still be needing to find Koko, another switch card, and then an energy. That's not much to dig for. I think I'll be okay. It's not a huge amount of reach. So Eternatus naturally isn't the best matchup for you because your 3 prize Pokemon are so squishy, but the Crushing Hammers are really in this deck, partly for this matchup to try and make it a lot closer for you. The Slowbro build tends to play quite a high switch count. They might be based on Stadium Retreat though, and if they're playing Stadium Retreat, which they seem to be, the paralysis is very strong against this sort of build from Raichu and Raichu, so certainly something to bear in mind. They're actually quick balling away an actual switch here, which you like to see because the less that they have access to, the better for when we start getting towards that late game. We are just going to see the rapid fire poison and probably just a pass here from our opponent, to be honest. They're going to Power Accelerator. This also makes a lot of sense because they know that we are a Crushing Hammer deck, so they want to get extra attachments in, which is absolutely fine. Okay. Let's have a think. So we draw energy. I could let this energy go, and it opens up Energy Switch as a play. Because I could Koko Dancer 2 things, and then I could E-Switch to Dedenne and pay retreat, if need be. So that's fine. I feel like playing research here. I know we have a fair amount of supporters still left in the deck to be able to use, but quick balls can still be Crobat that we have in the deck as well. So if we need deeper dig, we can go that route. So we have drawn our outs to Koko, so I can dance and just full blitz, but I'd be full blitzing onto like nothing good. So it might just be a Boltund Electrify here, and then pray that their 4-card hand doesn't get them VMAX Gust play. It would be a really specific hand that they'd be sat on. I feel like it has to be Boltund here. I don't think we can go aggro full blitz and just lose ourselves the game just yet. But yeah, not the best research, I'll be honest. and we drew all the supporters when I had the option to Dedenne change first. But I was thinking that I was getting rid of so many supporters that... Oh, sorry, I was thinking that... Yeah, because there was 2 research in hand, I thought it was more likely that we'd find the quick pull, which we ended up doing. We just didn't find the radar to sort of follow up on that play. So at this point, Crushing Hammer's hit Tails. We're really hoping that we're not seeing Gust play here alongside of VMAX. They can Crobat, so they certainly have some plays available to them. It's not out of the realms of possibility that they just Gust and detonate us here. When that's the case, we're looking to probably just Electrify again onto like a Raichu, and then we'd be working towards Marnies and Stamps. Because we'd have a long way back from there. They've not played a supporter yet. There's their Crobat for a bunch. They do find the VMAX, so the fact that they're poisoning the active probably tells us that he's not going to be gusting here. Alright, so it's me going through Boltund, so that's something. So the objective this turn is going to be find a Raichu, essentially. We did that pretty well. One stamp gone, so I definitely need to work towards a Marnie for next turn, or a Reset Stamp if we can. Crushing Hammers are also insane here. I think I still want to get to work on the active. So there's 2 ways to think about this. If I go to work on the active, well, A, they can whiff. Yeah, I have to go to work on the active. Double Heads completely swings this back into good shape now. I'm going to Swell as well. We can get the speed on. So you can see how the Crushings can just... You know, they're a win condition in a cart. Like, it sucks that they're coin flips, and no one likes to see it, but we were toast. We were, like, outside of hand disruption, we were pretty much on toast there. And then you get 2 heads and suddenly you're straight back in the game. If he finds switch out to attack with the next VMAX, even that's not a huge problem, because then we can go for paralysis play with a Marnie. Especially if he's spending switches this turn. That seems like a solid route for us. Okay, so they're definitely digging for switch by the looks of things. Find themselves a Toxicroak. None of the poison stuff matters in this matchup, essentially, because everything is so squishy on our end. So these are all just... Oh boy. So he has the switch as well. Broken hand. Broken hand. Well, what are we doing now? What are we doing now? Now we are hoping to find our last Crushing Hammer and our... and our Stamp or Marnie? Because otherwise we're just, again, we're just dead. We don't even have enough energies to try and build towards... I think I don't attach here because I want a Marnie and then be able to actually full blitz to self and try and win in 2 turns. That's the only way I'm winning here. It's like, I need to Marnie myself into Reset Stamp and my Crushing Hammer. We still have our Crobat in the deck, which is something. I just want to thin these cards. So we have our Crushing Hammer, we have our Reset Stamp, we have Marnie plus potential Speed Lightning Energy plus Crobat play to try and find these things. Not looking ideal. Alright, we're making a big Crobat play. There's the Crushing Hammer, there's the speed. We still have the E-switch in here as well, actually, so we could... My goodness, we're hitting everything. Now we just need to hit heads on the hammer to have a chance of winning. Oh, this game's such a stitch up at times. This game is actually such a stitch up. We're scamming him right now. Like, we're honestly scamming this man. You kind of feel bad about it. Maybe he just ripped the supporter and beats us anyway here. Yeah, he did. Okay. Well, you can see the scam approach, and this is, let's be clear, one of our hardest matchups. You play the Crushing Hammers to try and have a chance in these sorts of situations. We motored through our entire deck without playing Dedenne Change as well that game. Let's remember that, which is pretty cool. So you can see how powerful the draw side of the PikaRom deck is. We did kind of just get floored there. They essentially just had one very, very good turn where they were able to boss up the Choo-Choo alongside the switch outs. But let's be fair, we also did very well on Crushing Hammers. We hit 3 of the 4, so... and quite often there, the Reset Stamp just works, and then we actually just win the game. So it was a strange balance of good and bad luck, to be honest with you. Alright, our hand is looking okay. So I could Mewtwo Balloon switch into it and try and make a Crobat play. But I can also do the same thing next turn quite happily. And again, when we're holding things like Crushing Hammer, we're definitely going to be up against a Centiskorch by the looks of things here. I feel like we're never getting hand disrupted, or very, very rarely getting hand disrupted. 3, 6, 7, 8. Maybe they random stamp us just in case they're going to Crobat draw. So I might put these down. But I think I hold the rest. I think we just hold the rest. Energy to PikaRom is still just such a good play. If I'm scared of Giratina, was I meant to switch into the Mewtwo now? I don't think Centiskorch plays Tool Scrapper too often, but maybe there's some outside chance that they play Giratina just so they can get rid of Coating Metals, so possibly I should have switched there. Alright, they are indeed a Senti, and they're going to make the traditional build up a Senti kind of play. We're going to Crobat for 3 here. More Crush'ems is good. Don't need to put the Choo-Choo down because we have the Mewtwo there that I'm happy to use. No supporter from them makes me like not want to dig for a Marnie or anything like that, so we're going to play the research here. So we do have a Full Blitz, which is nice. Coco in the house. Do I want to just thin an extra PikaRom here and just get rid of it? I feel like that's not a bad move. It closes the door on Dedenne Change for us next turn, but I feel either boss / research is a good enough play. Always. So we already have the Choo-Choo in the bin as well. So we'll just toss the other Pika here. Alright, we're getting a Full Blitz off. Or am I? Am I just electrifying instead? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So if I do just let this die, if I just let this go, maybe the attachment was wrong here. Maybe I'm actually just meant to electrify. Yeah, I think I am. Because then I can be the one initiating with a boss next turn. So yeah, I played weird with tempo there, but I think we figured a better play. Oh, maybe that's not even right, because I can't move the Boltund now. I think I should have thought more about my turn before I threw away the extra quick ball. Because now looking at it, it's like I should definitely have held the quick ball so I could boss Dedenne Change. But here we are. Looks like we're going to be trying to make stamp plays work for us. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. Do I save the swell for the Marnie play? Do I save the crushing for the bench? I think I just save basically everything and just full blitz to Mewtwo. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28 if he attaches. So the Crushing Hammer stops him just attach bossing, I guess, onto the Mewtwo, which sounds like a good deal. Against Tails anyway, so that's fine. Do I want to try and just deny the Hearth? Because his hand is still low. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. And let's blitz. We've taken things a little slow here. Well to the back. Just the one. Quick ball as well, so this could easily be Dedenne changing or something like that. Yep. There's a lot of switches, I think. 3 switches already gone. And a Birdkeeper. Okay, so they play Birdkeeper though. So Birdkeeper makes our matchup way worse because they have Eldegoss outs now to body us. 16, 20. So I have to make a choo-choo here. If I want a lightning ride, which I have to because he's at 170. Or we gamble a paralysis play. He needs to have switch energy in hand or Eldegoss energy in hand or quick ball energy in hand. That's too many, it's just too many outs. So I think I need to lightning ride here. And then we're going into the choo-choo because it's the biggest thing we have. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 15, 16. Trying to see how the Boltund's going to be weaved in here. Alright, so they're able to potentially Eldegoss here, or just Crobat looking for Welder. Oh, they play Double as well, which is pretty cool. So there's the next Senti. Objective next turn is to stamp paralyze the Centiskorch, obviously. They've filled their board now, so the Birdkeeper that's rattling around in their bin is a lot less scary to me now. They're actually just flare startering. Don't draw boss. Okay, very good. Now I'm allowed to dig for Stamp. Four, 8, 12, 16, 18. 4, 8, 12, 16. So he could beat me with Attach Boss. So this has to be the active. Wait, Attach Boss never beats me because he also has to have switch outs. Maybe I was meant to take the energy here. We'll see. There's a lot of switch outs gone right now. Yeah. Paralysis sticks. So we just get in with a Bolt Storm. So essentially, in both games we've had against the VMAX deck so far... Oh, so I was digging for a Stamp that wasn't even there, so I was meant to hold the previous hand, by the way. But the Crushing Hammer, maybe? No, Crushing Hammer didn't do anything. So you can see how in both situations against the VMAX, right? So in game 1, we Stamp to 1 with a Crushing Hammer heads and make them have a card. And there we didn't actually disrupt their hand, but the paralysis, when you can see their discard pile and you know so many outs are gone, you just sort of... There are just turns where you're just like, well, they can have it, but you just got to make them have it all the time. Make them hit the nuts against you, basically. Because VMAXs are just so stupid big these days that you can't fight them on a fair field. You have to try and cheese them one way or the other. Be it with crushing or be it with other things. Stamp plays. Alright, let's start up against a Mirror. Going first against Mirror isn't necessarily great. Especially when we're getting rid of so many Baus and our Eldegoss. But it's a solid hand to start off with. We hit Energy as well, which is pretty pog. We hit Air Balloon as well. PikaRom not known really for playing Tool Scrapper. They are very much known for playing Marnies though, so I'm going to commit this. Boltund's a good guy to put down, I'm pretty sure, most of the time. So we'll chill. Only thing we're lacking right now is a discard synergy for these lightnings, so we can get in with Pikachu. Top decking Radar, even for no targets, is probably our best draw next turn. Let's see what they're going to do. Are they just going to try and electrify, or are they going to try to go for the full blitz? See, they get the dream of the double Radar Energy Wombo combo. You'll love to see it. So we'll see. Something always to bear in mind is if they are putting down their own copies of Mewtwo, that we can maybe attempt to keep Dance of the Ancients around to try and burst. Like if I'm just thinking that we should just attach Marnie Electrify, see where we get to. If he keeps his PikaRom active, okay, so he's still got Dedenne Dig and potential supporter plays. They play Yell Grunts and chose not to play Yell Grunt against me, which is quite interesting. The Yell Grunt seemed very solid there. They've now drawn into all their crushings. We've evaded the first, but not the second. They're playing Big Charms, which I don't think impacts this matchup much. And they're researching away a Marnie and a Stamp. That's a lot of their hand disruption already gone. Double Marnie and Stamp already gone. 2 crushings out of the way. I feel like we're definitely electrifying next turn. Probably just electrify Marnie. It's still not like it's really not a bad play to make that move because he's still got the issue of trying to move this Pika and actually get a shimmy on with it. The fact that he's found the Koko proactively makes things quite scary though, because now we just need like a switch and an E-switch if he wants to hit us this turn, even, is an option. He could Crobat Dig as well if he wants to. There's a Boltund. Okay, so he could still electrify if he has a switch card now as well. think he's always electrifying if he's making this move. That's very scary. He's getting a lot of energies into play. Whilst crushing ours away. But it be like that sometimes. That's out on a 2-card hand. But they chose to get rid of a Swell. What does that tell me? That doesn't tell me much. Three, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I guess I just electrify. The thing that's most scary is with this amount of energy currently that he's threatening, he could easily be the one getting the Boltund like supercharged to be a huge threat. Oh boy. He's just going straight in for the tag bolt plays. Big research on that hand as well. Oh no. Mum get the camera? Okay. He decided that his attachment wasn't very smart. Pay Retreat Blitz? Or just Bolt Storm for 10 off? Electrify to Choo Choo seems... yeah, doesn't sound great either. Yeah, he's going to go for 10 off. Okay. Some 10 off plays. Okay. So we have full blitz available. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 2, 10. He'll be like off on damage again. But hitting the Boltund is like really just not good at all. Maybe I just let this Boltund go, keep electrifying, and hope that Marnie just makes him whiff boss. The only thing is he hasn't played any boss yet. I definitely want to... maybe I just keep the energy attachment open for what I see the other side of this hand. I'm going to hate missing an energy though, and I'm not seeing many cards. We'll put it here and decide with the electrify later. I think I definitely want to electrify though. Kind of makes the most sense to me. We'll swing on over to Choo Choo. We're currently holding boss. I'm afraid of them bossing me and getting a big hit in with Bolt. But Boltund still isn't killing anything. He can go to 220 on PikaRom. Boss is pretty much just terrifying though. Especially if it's with Boltund. If he does it with Boltund, I'm probably just boss tandem shocking the PikaRom and seeing what happens from there. Thanks to his big charm, I can't do any of my own Boltund shenanigans just yet either. Need to hold off on that. Full energy PikaRom looking pretty scary. Not gonna lie. Let's see what our opponent wants to do. Do they have boss players if they can? What are they going for? E-Switch. Spicy. Okay. Alright, they're just going to Bolt Storm. So no boss. Feels good, man. Am I going to waste an attachment on Dedenne here just to guarantee the tandem shock on this guy? I think I have to. I really don't want to, but I think I have to. Switch is really, really good. That's like definitely the best draw for us here, because now I'm setting up a potential lightning ride play. Or a potential Boltund. I got to think about what's better for a second. This is always happening. Boltund is just such gas here, man. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 210, 240, 250. So I would have been there if it weren't for the charm. But essentially, we're trying to set up the 2-shot for the Pika, and then the Boltund can come in and 1-shot the Choo-Choo. Gonna be the path we're gonna try and take here. How many switch have we seen from them so far? Just one. I was looking at E-switches. We've played a couple, which is the only real fear factor for us right now. That we're kind of still worried about him paralyzing us back. The only thing about him coming in with Choo-Choo of his own now is that my Boltund is ready for his Choo-Choo. Whereas his Boltund's 10 off still on mine. So he either comes in and blitzes, or he comes in and paralyzes. Or he Boltund kills my Boltund. He radared for nothing, right? He just wasted his radar. I guess he didn't have any more Dedennes. Crobat, though. Here's where we get a little bit scared. He didn't have a switch in his hand before, so that's good. They do have a switch now. Do they have a boss? Or are they just going to Boltund for 10 off again? Ah, they're going to do it this way around? Okay. So Stamp Lightning Riding into a Mewtwo. How does that sound? Sounds okay. The fact that I have to go for this Boltund is really bad for me, though. probably always having to Lightning Ride. I should dig for the stamp rather than Marnie. Unfortunately, the Boltund's too big for us to deal with, so... So the stamp to 1 seems okay. Played a good amount of supporters already. He's forced into the PikaRom. See how the hand treats him. So they're going to stamp Choo-Choo us. They hit a Marnie as well, which is a pretty big high roll for them, not going to lie. Crushings are devastating to see at this point. We've not found any of our crushings, by the way. Until this is our first crushing that we've seen. Alright, they're gonna shock us. Alright, let's rain some pain on this guy. So we're paralyzing this. I'll take one off here. Take another one off here. We don't hit stamp, but I can Marnie to attempt to stamp. Marnieing to attempt to stamp sounds really bad though. Can I win in enough? Do I have enough time to research and win? Do I have enough turns to? Yeah, I think I do. Let's scout this before I make a decision. One boss, one switch. No energies. I don't want to get bodied by energies. How many crushings has he played? He's played 2 only. 3. No, I don't think I can risk it. We'll just paralyze. Those crushings were pretty clutch though. How many switch down is he now? He's now down 3 switch. Hits the 4th. Well, we were right to not research. I really need to boss him next turn. If I can boss KO Choo-Choo with Boltund, his Boltund can't boss KO anything, I don't think. Oh wait, it can boss KO this. Yeah. Alright, I guess the Crushing Hammer went to waste. I guess maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe this is fine. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 energies. There's still more energies rattling around in his deck for sure. It's just whether the stamp got him. Dang. That's unlucky. That's unlucky. Yeah, we got bodied. Damn. These stamps to 1 have done nothing. I think we basically just got bodied from our opening hand where we bin double boss Eldegoss, you know? we had to have too many ugly hits there. Too many ugly hits. And our stamps gave him, what was it, research? And then this stamp gave him speed into Eldegoss for game. Sometimes the stamps just aren't working your way. It's a shame. Like, you never feel completely out of the game with PikaRom. We can have one more game, because it's just fun and interesting. But there's never a game that's in complete control either, unless your hammers either go insane, or if they just have, like, a really bad opening. It's so stamp and pray. It really doesn't fit my playstyle. It really doesn't fit my playstyle. They had some huge turns, though. What can I say? When we weren't able to access the crushings, meant that he could Bolt Storm our Pika. That was a big problem. Okay. That's a draw that you love to see. I feel like Boss Man ain't doing a lot here. We'll grab the lads. We'll swing an energy onto the lad. Good hand to hold, I think. Could be ADP, could be Lucario. It's Lucario. Okay. Oftentimes Boltund is a pretty hard carry. Hammers everywhere. Marnie in the hand isn't the worst for us. Goggle Sword seems reasonable. I'm paranoid of losing too many energies. I don't like this whole dead hand idea either. Not a big fan of this whole let's just sit on a dead hand. I don't want to attach to PikaRom because it's just going to get done in. I want to be electrifying. I think we're taking it slow. We are taking this slow. I'm feeling really bad about it. Full blitzing into a wall sounds like a huge trap. The only time I can convince myself to try and full blitz into him is if we can Crushing Hammer the active off. So he's giving us a Marnie for no reason. My turn was terrible. But we'll take it. Okay. He's building up energies, which is a good idea. Japan. There goes our push potential. I guess just in case he plays another stadium, I may as well put this down. Makes him weaker to stamp as well if he does play his own swell. I want to keep the balloon option for the Boltund, so I'll play the switch here. Play like this.
Ryan Little.
Boss. Bait me first with a crushing, then boss. Yeah, I thought so. The wall. Okay, so that's 5 energies down. It's a good time to draw a Koko, I feel. Oh, no switch. I don't want to lose any more energies, so I'm just going to attach and take a fisting here. Hopefully, if he's steel fisting, it's hard for him to... Yeah, so he didn't make any headway towards Brave Blade. That's the only good news, that he didn't have any attachment there. Alright, let's start hitting this guy. This is going to be a long game. This is going to be a long game. I only have 13 cards left in my deck, but I'm basically only drawing my top decks for the remainder of the game. We have a lot of bosses still remaining. We have Eldegoss. I just need to keep track of my switches for when I'm trying to Tandem Shock and when I'm trying to Lightning Ride. It's the most important things to bear in mind. Right, is he going to prod, or is he going to just Intrepid here? Okay, he's going to continue to prod. Okay. So he's at 230 effectively. So I could Lightning Ride GX through this guy if I want to. I can't Lightning Ride GX through a Zacian. So I probably should Lightning Ride through him, right? Keep the energies around so Boltund's still a threat. So what am I retreating into? I guess I just go into Crobat. $250 minus 60. Yeah. Or do I go into another... Do I make another Boltund? Nah, I think we just sack Crobat. Alright, still 4 prizes to take. They do have the sauce. The metal sauce. They have the switch. Do they have another boss? I'm scared of boss. No, just a brave. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 210, 240, 270. So if I can E-switch or attach to Boltund here, well, I can't E-switch. How many energies? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We play 14. So if I can Marnie into energy, am I just going to win? Let's have a look. So we have 1 energy. But if I Marnie into it, I basically instantly win. I don't want to lose to random stuff like scrap a boss and I run out of switch outs, so I think I'm just playing the Marnie as is now. Oh, missed the energy. Feels. The feels, bro. Do it this way around, I think. Alolan is a card. In a way, I kind of hope that he Malolanas and comes back in to hit us, because then I can Marnie to hit our switch and energy and just be done with the guy. Oh, he has no Malolana? Or he's just taking fodder for Malolana that's already in his hand. Let's read on. So the Crushing Hammer seemed to be a big deal. Now that he's... well, it seems to not be a big deal at all. Okay, so he's actually playing Sinland here. Grabbing back a boss. 3 draws to try and find a switch. Quick balling isn't doing much. Oh, wow. You get to see a great hand, my dude. Intrepid. You love to see that. You love to see that. So this boy has too much health left for me to deal with still. 160. I think I have to paralyze him again, you know. Or is this where I poke for 20? If I poke him for 20... he then is in range of me para-killing next time. I just can't let him boss Boltund. Boss Boltund is the thing I'm petrified of, so I think I just paralyze again. That's our last switch. Ah, crumbs. 3, 6, 9, 12. I don't know if I was meant to switch there. I think that's actually wrong. We still have a balloon in the deck, though. Maybe I meant to Marnie. To access that energy, and to try and access the balloon next turn. This could be good as well. I'm interested. Probably just play this to play around more Marnies from him. There's the balloon that we spoke about. Has he played Scraps yet? No. Alright, we'll just do this. We're slowly creeping towards this guy. He didn't Malolana last turn, and it seemed like a really good Malolana, so pretty convinced they're in his prize cards. Just don't have Switch Boss to kill Boltund here, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself. No boss. Lovely. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, yeah, million damage. So the Boltund comes swinging in. For a Squillion. Reduced by an equal Squillion. And now we're just bossing that boy with whatever, because it's only got 20 left. Alright, the slow and patient approach is what was needed there. I feel like there were some turns where he... Like, the second Steel Fist on this could have been an Intrepid Sword play. There was a couple of things... I mean, also potentially a whiff, like a big whiff that he didn't have Malolanas available to him. The Malolanas are the most crushing thing to see as PikaRom, because you're hitting them for like 90, and they're healing for more than you're hitting, so... That was pretty good, and he didn't boss Boltund, so we actually got away with it. Only really afraid of like stamp plays now. Well, we have one turn. We can... I mean, we have 2 turns because I can paralyze, but maybe I still lose. He's played 4 Switch, but he's almost definitely taking a Malolana from prizes, right? Well, I thought it was over, but it ain't over. It ain't over. The good news is I only need to do 20 to this, so... Did I stamp him into a Malolana? I did. Oh, no! I was celebrating the win! It's so rare that Lucario actually plays stamps these days. It just wasn't in my field of vision. Oh, man. So we've actually lost 3 games of the 4 with PikaRom. It is one of the best decks in format. The stats will tell you that. And this list is still pretty much as standard as it comes, so either I'm playing the deck completely wrong the whole time, or we just had a bad run of variance there with reset stamps. Feel like leaning towards the latter. But hopefully that's... I mean, that was some of the other best decks in the format that we got to come up against all at once, so... yeah, we got to see both VMAX matchups, Mirror and Lucario. That's like a good array of decks. At least it shows you a decent approach to how to take on those archetypes, and obviously we did bring it close every time, so yeah. Let me know what you guys think about PikaRom. Do you enjoy it? Do you think it's still one of the top decks, or is it just kind of hanging on and hoping, and people are still playing it because, you know, it's still PikaRom and etc. I'll hear it all down below. Today was a bit of a sad day, the amount of losses we took, but it is what it is. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.